if you look here, I have some composites I've brought over, various things, etc. But of course, if you look at the blueprint for a T2 ship, you still will not be able to make it with these. So you have to go one step further. In fact, I think the only thing that directly uses these composites as a manufacturing input for like a useful output is like, I think some ammo types use them. Do not quote me on that. There is one more step to go from here, but it's not a reaction step, it's a manufacturing step. And
Charlie DiMaggio's X and entered channel.
so from these composites, you then have a manufacturing step. So it goes by all the other normal manufacturing things. Although
Steel tooth slice wins X and move to public.
it should be noted, it is a very high skill manufacturing thing. If you look at the skills required for here, you need the physics skills, which may not look by much, but they often have V requirements in various sectors.
Charlie DiMaggio's X and move to public.
These are not very easy things to manufacture, but nonetheless this is a manufacturing step, and you make what are called components. So what are components? Back to the spreadsheet thing that I made. These are components, although this is technically inaccurate because the Triglavians also have components, and this will be covered much later. So as you can see, it's essentially each race has a set of components, and sorry, I've gone a bit ahead of myself. Does anyone have any questions to do with the reactions part? We will be coming back to that for like a separate bit, but does anyone have any questions for what I've said so far? Because I'm not a very good teacher. Okay, that's good. So each race has sort of like, has sort of a reactor, sensor cluster, etc. Just very simple. They're all racially colored, and sort of they look like what you might expect. And these components are what make up sort of things you might actually build, which are T2. So a T2 ship will use, for instance, that is a MAR, will use every single MAR component, right? So that's fairly simple. Minmatar ship will use all of these components, because as you can think, all of these components would go...
Tienkame SB00B entered channel.
All of these components would go together to make a ship. Oh, sorry, damn it. The exception is pulse generator. These are used for missiles and smart bombs and some other things, and weapon, which are used for sort of T2 guns, T2 missiles, T2 launchers, etc. These do not go into ships, sorry. So only reactor, thruster, shield processor, sensor cluster, capacitor, and armor plate. All of these will make a ship. But it's not just that. Individual things of these will go in to make components. So for instance, a Tech 2 damage control is made of... Well, I can look it up, but I think I remember. Tech 2 damage control is made of a quantum microprocessor, ferrite carbide composite armor plate, oscillator capacitor unit, plasma pulse generator, which are respectively the Galente processor, the Minmatar sort of armor plate. Oscillator is Coldari, and plasma is also Coldari. So it's made of a mix of Galente, Coldari, and Minmatar components, for example, Ripamar. Anyway, so on and so forth. So while these look like ship components, you might think, reactor units for a ship. In reality, every T2 item you ever see is made out of various combinations of these, plus some PI, occasionally, planetary interaction materials, and always some morphite. So, all that how did I forget? Oh, never mind. Anyway, so always some morphite, and always some mixture of these, right? And so that is where all T2 production comes from in the end. This is your sort of end goal, sort of, for all types of T2 production. And then from there, you will invent a blueprint, invention data, and then you will manufacture it using variations of these and whatever else it demands. So, it will always demand a T1 version of what you're building. That's fairly standard, Tech 2 ship blueprint, you need the Tech 1 ship it comes from, so, Retribution would require a Punisher, etc., plus variations of these, plus some PI occasionally. So for ships, it's always construction blocks, for example, which is a P2, and all of these, if it's a ship, and some morphite. Okay. Does everyone get that?
Gula Maru Hunter SB00N moved to catch 4, aka folks that go AFK in standing fleet.
Can everyone follow that? Okay, I'll take
Sort
that.
of.
Sorry. I'm not... I talked a bit too fast, to be honest. But if you have anything that requires clarification, you can even interrupt me and just say, sort of, I don't get this. It can be a lot simpler to answer a question at the actual time, so to speak.
So if I get it right, we start from moon mining, then we use reaction to reprocess the moon mining ores to make things, and out of those things we can make modules, tactile modules,
Yes.
something like that.
Something like that. So from Moonor, you reprocess it using normal reprocessing. So I guess I didn't cover that because I thought it would be obvious, but anyway, so normal reprocessing systems with their own skills, with their own with your sort of the implants and the modules, etc., and the rigs. That's normal, just like reprocessing a piece of Veldspar or something. From there, you get the minerals and the moon materials as outlined in the graph earlier. From there, you react them. So in a two-stage process from those moon materials um, to a set of intermediate materials, of which there are like 12 or something, and from those to a set of composite materials, and those composite materials are then used to make components. The composite to component is a manufacturing process, not a reaction process, and then component to an actual T2 item is another manufacturing process. So you mine, you reprocess, a reaction, manufacture, and you're finally there. So it's quite complicated.
I see, I guess I get it, sort of.
Yeah. This is sort of like a mechanics introduction. I can't obviously tell you all the actual chains, all the actual reactions, all the actual materials, because it just sort of it's just sort of like a big data dump, and it's all on the wiki anyway. Well, most of it is on the wiki actually. Tech 2 in the uni wiki is a bit sort of vaguely done. There isn't too much expertise there around. So this is all of what you have.